Hi everyone, Marauders here, and let's go through the Acer W4 as a review. So we have here the Acer W4 Iconia W4, which is one of the latest Windows 8.1 8-inch tablets. So it's a very small 8-inch Windows PC, and to illustrate how small this is, it's not much bigger than a DVD case. So it's just slightly bigger than that. And as for the thickness, well, it's slightly thinner than a DVD case, but for those of you who just are into this kind of thing, it's about 1 centimeter thick. And what we have here we have a power button on the top, volume rocker, microphone, the HDMI port. Now there's something interesting with the HDMI port, and when you connect it to a TV or to another video display, and you should check out my other video if you want to have details about that. Then we have the micro SD slot. This supports SDXC, but it doesn't seem to support the high-speed transfer modes of the SDXC format. And here at the bottom we have both the audio out port as well as the micro USB port. The micro USB port also serves as the power charging port. So you charge using this, or you connect the USB on the go cable to plug in your USB devices. You cannot connect this into a PC and access the drive or anything like that. It doesn't work as a client device. Then at the bottom you also have these two grills are the speakers. Then on this side is totally blank. And then the back is just a smooth painted black. It's really smooth. It is very likely to slide off your hands if you don't grab it properly. And another thing that to be aware of is this is very lightly painted, and you can see there's already some scratches on it already. Okay, not sure you can see it here. The camera can pick it up because my viewfinder is actually a bit busted. So you can see there's some scratches here. So this is most likely paint, and it's definitely going to come off if you start using it a bit more, if you start scraping around on the surface, like if you have kids or anything like that. So this is probably not going to be pristine after a while. Then for all you people who are wondering about where do things get hot when you're doing a lot of processing, that's this area. So this area is the part which gets hot when you're using it a lot, when it's under high load. And let's turn it on. I'd show in portrait mode, but obviously it's a bit too high for the camera. And here we have Windows 8.1. Now what I should stress is that, because many people keep getting the wrong idea, this is running real Windows 8.1. This is an x86 processor. It's running actual Windows. That means the actual Windows which you have on your PC or whatever, on the bigger PCs. This is not running Windows RT. So that means this is your PC. Whatever you want to install on it, you can do so. Whatever you have running, you have AutoCAD, you have your Office. As long as it doesn't hit the resolution of 1280 by 600, you can run it off this Iconia W4 without any problems. So what good is it? Well, this is a small little thing. Some people might probably not get used to the fact that it's so small, so it might be hard for you to interface with elements on the desktop, but Of course, that's why you have the modern UI, which contains a bunch of other apps you can get from the store. But of course, you most likely use this for browsing. And because it's full Windows, you can actually run other things, like maybe you might want to run a Flash game perhaps. So I can actually just uncheck this. Let's turn off the sound. Okay, so you can actually run actual Flash games. Of course, most of the Flash games out there might need the keyboard, and well, you can get it to work. But the better thing that you might want to do is to just plug in a Bluetooth keyboard. So I have a small little Bluetooth keyboard here. Let me just turn off this audio in case I get content ID checked. So this is an actual Flash game that you just play just like any other on your PC normally. And it just works because, again, this is just Windows. As it's very important to note, this is not some dumbed down OS version or anything. And of course, aside from this, you can browse. The W4 comes with Office, so you have Word, you have all the usual suspects. You have Word, you have Excel, you have PowerPoint, you have OneNote. You basically have all the most important Office applications except for Outlook. You do not get Outlook with the Iconia W4. So that's one thing to remember if that is what you prefer. But since we're talking about on the subject of working on the Office, there is one important thing to note here. Now, while we could type on the whole document through the software keyboard, if you really wanted to, the best thing is of course to get an actual keyboard. So something like maybe this, which is a Bluetooth keyboard, which just directly connects wirelessly. But of course, not everyone is going to have a Bluetooth keyboard, and you are more likely to have a USB keyboard. So what you would do is you will take the on-the-go cable that Acer has helpfully provided and plug it into the USB port, micro USB port, and then after which you will just connect another keyboard to it. Now the problem here is this: as I mentioned just now, the micro USB port is also where it charges. So effectively, when you're charging or when you can either choose to do one thing at a time. Either you charge the tablet or you use a USB device, which is an inconvenience if not for the fact that the Iconia W4 has pretty decent battery life. It can last 7 to 8 hours under normal use. So you should be okay with this arrangement if for short rounds of document editing. But of course, it'll probably last you a while on battery power. But of course, if you are in a pinch and you need both battery and USB at the same time, well, you're gonna have to make a choice on what you want to use. Of course, one of the most obvious things you're going to do with the Acer Iconia W4 is that you're going to want to play some videos with it. So as a video playback device, it's fantastic. It is more than capable of handling all your 1080p videos and whatnot, and it is and the performance is good enough to handle nearly everything you can throw at it, even up to low bit rate. Probably some low bitrate 4K videos might not even be a problem for it to handle. So I have a more comprehensive video about video playback on the Iconia W4, which you can look at it in my channel. But one thing that I do want to point out here is the volume of the speakers. Now, while it might sound like it's very loud, it works great when you are trying to use it in a room or something in an enclosed space, but it is really it's not loud enough to pierce any open areas. For example, if you're planning to use this to entertain your kids and they need to hear the audio in let's say a restaurant or something, it's probably not gonna happen. You need to get an external speaker or something for it. The speakers just aren't loud enough for those kind of scenarios. And of course, the other most important thing about a tablet of this size is, when people ask, is that so it can play videos, it can do my office work, but how well can it play games? Well, if it's a Windows Store game, for example, your usual standbys like Angry Birds, okay, it's no problem here. Everything just works. It works as you expected. So you can easily, a simple game like Angry Birds, not an issue. You can even have something like, where's my Mickey? Again, these are all the tablet standbys. So there's really nothing much here. These are all given. This will work. It's actually much better than the previous Clover Trail Atoms. So it's actually, the performance is much better already. There's no lagging or jerking. And well, you expect all these to work. You can even, but the cool thing is that even complicated things like Asphalt Airborne here, this will also work. Though I'm not sure if I set it to do a tilt control or touch controls. If not, that I can't demo this properly. Okay, let's just let it load. Okay, oh, there's a bricks. So you can see it works great. It feels like well, there are not much frame rate issues to talk about, so you can actually play this quite well, and it will be quite enjoyable if you're into this. Now, the white elephant. Now, one thing you might be wondering why that I haven't brought up the moment I talk about games is that why haven't I brought up Spartan Assault, which is like the hallmark of a Windows 8 game. Well, that's the problem. There's an issue with how the game works and how the W4 as well as any other 8-inch portrait style tablets report their graphic resolutions. Check it out. Check out the other video on my channel for more information about this. But suffice to say, right now Spartan Assault ain't gonna work on any of these small 8-inch tablets. Not until they patch it. But that was all for your Windows Store games. If you're a real gamer on a Windows PC, one of the things that you only care about is, of course, Steam. And since we are running a real PC here, obviously Steam works. The question then is that, given that it is you are gaming on a PC, how well is the performance of the system to play? It's a very mixed bag. There are as per usual with a system of this configuration, there are a lot of factors to take into account. First of all, this is still, as good as it is, this is still just an Atom processor. It's nowhere near a core level processor, so performance is going to be slow. And while the graphical chops of the Bay Trail is now much better than the previous Atoms, this guy only has 2 gigs of RAM, which means that afterwards when we run through some tests, you're going to see a lot of insufficient memory errors come out. And thirdly, of course, is being a desktop game, most of your Steam games are gonna need some form of joystick control or keyboard or mouse control. So you just playing on a tablet isn't going to be an option for most games. But again, I'll show you something that might work better. Okay, so let's get some games running. I have a keyboard here, but of course, who would want to use a keyboard on when you're playing games? Since I have a USB port, I'm just gonna plug in a USB controller, plug in my gamepad. So now I've plugged in my little gamepad here, which is actually as big as the tablet itself. That's interesting. Now we can test a few games here. I can try, let's go for Risk of Rain. Now one thing is that the MMC on the W4 is actually a bit slow, so loading sometimes takes a while. That's just something to be taken note of. So here we have a game here, and okay. Okay, this is a simple game. Everything works just fine. What were you expecting? It works as expected. No surprise there. So you might be asking now, great, this looks like a simple enough game. So what kind of other things can we run? I actually haven't had a chance to run through most of it, but to try out the other things. But what I have installed is, I have installed Serious Sam 3. Now this is gonna take a while to load, so I'll just probably do a cut edit from now afterwards. Okay, I think we're good. Are we good? Yep, we're good. So it took about a few minutes to get to this point. Let's see now. So again, with the loading, we're good to go. Let's give it a try. So this is obviously not running in any sort of high graphic detail. It's just everything is basically at acceptable levels. And I actually don't even know how to change weapons in this game. Let's reload. Oh god. So it's pretty decent. It's probably gonna it gets a bit jerky and everything gets busy, but it's playable. And again, that's the thing. You have to keep trying every game that you find and see whether it works well for you or not. And that was a short review of the Acer Iconia W4 with a very nifty small compact Windows 8.1 tablet. Now if you have any questions or you would like me to try anything, just let me know in the comments and I'll get back to you. Okay, see you guys around.